Guys, welcome to my newest video for today. For today's video, I'm going to be doing a watching the collection for July. So this month was very heavily movie focused watching for me because I was determined to finish my rewatch of the MCU before Deadpool and Wolverine came out towards the end of July, which I'm pleased to say I actually managed to do that. I finished my first rewatch of the the entire MCU in what feels like ages. So that will be where the bulk of my physical media collection will be, but I did manage to watch a few other movies here and there. So starting off with the DVD that I managed to watch, and that was Raise the Titanic. So this is a new addition to my collection. I will probably still be doing a 3-month DVD Blu-ray update. So a lot of these ones will be shown in there, but this is a sneak peek to that haul. So basically I was curious about this one because of the premise, because this is basically where they find the location of the Titanic because they want this rare material that they believe is on this, and it's like at the height of the Cold War with Russia, so they're determined to get to the Titanic first, bring it back to New York. And yeah, it's because I actually thought there would be more focus on the actual, the Titanic being raised to the surface, coming back, but it wasn't really. There was just one scene of that actually happening where it arrived in New York, and I thought there'd be more of them exploring and things like that, and it was more about the B plot with the Russians and the trying to find this rare material. And I just felt this movie was okay. It was an alright watch. I'm glad I watched it because I like to try and watch different movies about the Titanic because I do find it quite fascinating. And obviously, I've seen the main ones like James Cameron's Titanic, and I've seen A Night to Remember, and I've seen the 1953 version. I think that's when that film came out. But I was curious about this one because this was filmed 5 years before the Titanic was actually found. And yeah, I did think that was quite fascinating. So not... the movie itself was alright, but yeah, definitely not one of my favourite watches. So, but yeah, that's Raise the Titanic. And then I ended up watching a couple of musicals. One of them is also a new addition to the collection, and that is Prince of Egypt. This is the live recording of the musical on the West End. I don't believe it will ever, it most likely won't ever make it out here to Australia, because I don't think, I did have a look and it's there's not really any plans for it to come out here. So I was well, this might be the closest that I get to it, and I've kind of been missing going to my shows, and I wanted to watch it, and I loved this. Yeah, I have seen the animated version that this is based on, and yeah, just how they made use of the stage for telling the story of the Exodus, and especially what I was most curious to see is how they handled the parting of the Red Sea. And yeah, the stage work was phenomenal. This would have been incredible to see live. So maybe one day Australia will get it, but I'm not holding my breath. Because I don't believe this is even playing in London anymore. I think it's finished its original run, but this might be the closest I get to it. But yeah, this was a great musical, and yeah, definitely will be rewatching this again. So Prince of Egypt. And then I was randomly in another musical mood and I wanted to watch The Wiz one night. I do like this adaptation of The Wizard of Oz. I will say, because who is it? Diana Ross? Is that? Yeah. the cast, like the casting needs like a bit of suspension of disbelief because Diana Ross is considerably older than what Dorothy is supposed to be, so like it really stands out when you watch it. But I do like the songs in this, and sometimes I just want to put it on. And I think my favorite song out of this is Don't Tell Me No Bad News. And I also really like the song Tin Man, since I think it slides some oil into me. I actually quite like that one as well. So yeah, it's, I mean, this movie's not the greatest movie, but I enjoy it, and every now and then I like to put it on and watch it. So I watched The Wiz. And then another new purchase. I know, who am I? I'm actually watching some of my like new pickups. I watched Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 1. I'm only familiar with the adaptation they did with the Flurryverse, so I don't really have any other like knowledge when it comes to this comic event. So I'm curious to see where Part 2 goes, because because it kind of seemed to wrap up, and then I was like, because it was the way the film was like it was going, I was like, this is like wrapping up rather well for like being the first part of 3. And then I was like, well, something has to happen in the next, because I think I checked the time and I had like 6 minutes left, and I was like, well, something has to happen in the next 6 minutes. And then something happened in the next 6 minutes. So I was like, well, that's where Part 2's coming into it. So, but yeah, it was a bit confusing at first because it had Barry, like the Flash, like jumping around to all these different timelines, and even I was having trouble following what was actually happening, which I think was supposed to be the point. Like, we were meant to be as confused as the Flash was, and then slowly begin to get pieces with what's happening with all these different realities. So it was interesting. I did like this one, and I will be continuing on with watching the rest of this, because I do have Part 2. I don't have Part 3 yet. I will probably pick that up a bit later, but yes, I did quite enjoy Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 1. And then I finished my annual rewatch of the original Star Wars trilogy. I just managed to squeeze in Return of the Jedi this month. You all know how much I love Star Wars, and it was just great revisiting the original trilogy. So I just have the sequel trilogy to watch, which I'm hoping to finish next month. And then my Star Wars rewatch for the year will be complete, because this is one of the franchises that I make sure to rewatch every single year. And I just have a great time watching it. And this year was no exception. Like, I do group all the, the original trilogy as one. I count it as one film. Because it's as a whole, it's in my top 5 favorite movies of all time. Separate Empire Strikes Back is still my favorite. It's I just love everything about these movies, and it's great space opera, and it was just a lot of fun revisiting them. So I think of basically every year I say the same things about these movies, but it doesn't change. Some of my favorite movies, so it's one of my favorite film franchises. So that's Star Wars, the original trilogy. And then we get into the bulk of my movie watching, which is the rest of the MCU movies. I think there's 15 movies in here that I managed to watch, because I did have to double up a couple of nights because I was running out of time. I did start at the start of the year, but I just sort of left it because I was going through a phase where I wasn't really watching anything, and then I was like, oh, it's July, Deadpool and Wolverine comes out, I need to finish watching this. So I'll just quickly go through them. So we have Black Panther. I actually do really enjoy this film a lot. I think it's a great introduction to the Black Panther world, Wakanda, And yeah, just sort of it was like something very different for the MCU, and yeah, I really do like this one. So yeah, one of my because I did do a listing, like I ranked all the MCU movies. I don't know if I'll ever film that video because I feel like that will be here for like an hour of me talking about the MCU movies. So I don't know if anyone actually wants that, but yes, this is definitely like a top 10 film for sure. So Black Panther, and then we have Avengers Infinity War, of course, the prelude to Endgame and this chapter of the MCU. I have seen, since at the time of filming this, I have seen the announcement of Robert Downey Jr. playing Doom. I'm very confused as well, because I'm not familiar with comics, like a lot of the Marvel comics and that, so I have heard apparently it is a thing in the comics that this happens, but I was just kind of like, wait, what? when I saw that announcement. So very curious to see how they play that one off. So, but yeah, Avengers Infinity War, great first part story, and yeah, great to see everyone all come together. So like Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy. So Infinity War. Ant-Man and the Wasp is probably my favourite of the Ant-Man movies now that I've sort of rewatched them, but I do really like this one. It's a lot of fun, sort of dealing both with the fallout from the Sokovia Accords and trying to get Janet back. And yeah, I do quite like this one, and yeah, I forgot just how much fun it is because a lot of these I haven't seen in a long time. Some of them I hadn't watched since the cinema, so it was kind of interesting just going back and seeing how my thoughts were, like, a change to them. So Ant-Man and the Wasp. Captain Marvel, I actually really like this one. I know that's not a popular opinion, but I have a fun time watching this. I love the 90s setting, being a child of the 90s, and yeah, I love the soundtrack too. I just enjoy this one. So that's Captain Marvel. Avengers Endgame, one of my favorite movies of the MCU. This is like the perfect conclusion to this story, and I know the MCU has struggled in finding its footing since they came to this conclusion, so which kind of ironically, maybe they do need Robert Downey Jr. to give it that bit of spark back, but yeah, I loved how this all wrapped up. So Avengers Endgame. Spider-Man Far From Home. I enjoy the Spider-Man movies. For me, they're just sort of like middle, with the exception of the one that's coming up. Like, they're just middle MCU movies. I have a good time watching them, and yeah. And this one, like, because they're in Europe, so it's sort of a lot of fun with like the travel aspect and Mysterio and all of that. So I do like the earlier callbacks to the previous Marvel movies. So Far From Home, and then Black Widow. This movie should have come out a lot sooner. I know why it took as long as it did, and then obviously you had the pandemic in the middle of it, but it's a solid story for Black Widow. I just, yeah, would have actually liked to have seen like more from like Budapest and everything that was hinted at in the first Avengers movie. That would have been cool to see. But as a whole, I did like this story for like as a solo story for Black Widow, because well, I suppose I'm going to say, oh, we won't see any more, but then I was like, well, I suppose with the multiverse now open, there's a chance for all the previous characters who have died to have come back. So that one. Then we have Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. I had a really good time rewatching this. I did enjoy it when I saw it at the cinema, and it was just as much fun on rewatch. Yeah, I just sort of love the different, like the balance between like the humor and all the drama, and some of the like the fight scenes in this are also fantastic. Like, it's a great martial arts film as well. I think they have said there is going to be a second Shang-Chi. I think it's meant to be filming next year. So I would definitely like to see more from this particular side of the MCU. So Shang-Chi. And then I watched Eternals. This was one I was actually not looking forward to, and because I haven't seen this one since I saw it in the cinema, and my feelings are kind of the same. There's just too many characters, and even as someone like who can normally follow what's going on in a superhero movie, there was just so many characters doing off in different things and different time periods and all of that, and by the end of it I just didn't care. Which is a shame because it has a really good cast. There was just way too many characters. And I think this is one of the projects that has been shelved, which, considering this film ends on like 2 cliffhangers, and I think out of all of the ones, the cameo was with Harry Styles as Thanos' brother. I think I would have been more interested in seeing what became of that storyline. I don't know if we actually ever will, but I think out of everything, that had the more promising aspect of it. But yeah, Eternals is one of my least favourite MCU movies though, so... And then we get to one of my favourite MCU movies, Spider-Man No Way Home. This one I have seen a few times since the cinema. I love it. I love the team up with the different Spider-Mans. And obviously with Peter dealing, Tom Holland's Peter, dealing with the fallout of him being outed as Spider-Man and dealing with that aspect, and then plus all the different villains appearing, and yeah, it was a great team up movie. And yeah, it's Spider-Man's a franchise I really want to go back and revisit, because it's been a while since I've seen the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans and the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, so one of these days I will go back and do like a Spider-Man movie rewatch. So, but yes, I love this movie, one of my all-time favorites. And then we have Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. This one is just a lot of fun, because we sort of really delve into the multiverse aspect of it. Wanda's a great villain in this, and yeah, the the Illuminati scene and everything with that. It's just it's a solid MCU movie. I do like the Doctor Strange movies. I don't know how popular of an opinion that one is, but I like this one slightly more than the first one. But yeah, I did quite enjoy this one, and really sort of because I think there is meant to be a third one, so hopefully we get similar veins to this one, because I did like the exploration of the bit of the multiverse we did see. So but yes, this one's just a lot of fun to watch. So Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And now we get to Thor Love and Thunder. Now, this one was an interesting one to revisit, because I do like this one. I just don't know where I would rank it in terms of the Thor franchise, because Thor Ragnarok is my favourite Thor film, and this one I feel like it tried to get that level of humour, because it's obviously by the same director, Taika Waititi. It's just with the tone was all off, because obviously you had Jane's storyline, and that just sort of made it really hard to feel which tone we were meant to be going for. So I think I feel like this is either third or fourth in my rankings, because I have a really soft spot for the first Thor movie, because that is the movie that introduced me to the MCU movie as a whole. I saw that movie back at the cinema in 2011, and I've seen every single MCU movie in the theatre since. I just don't know still how to feel about this one, so it may take a couple more rewatches before I fully know how I feel, because I do also quite like Thor: The Dark World, which I know that one is very divisive, but I just, yeah, don't know, because it's yeah, like it's sort of in the middle of in terms of like the MCU rankings, but like it's a fine watch. It's just compared to Thor Ragnarok, it's not as good. And it's like, I also prefer like the first Thor film, so, but I did watch Thor Love and Thunder, so. And then this one was also another interesting one, because I did like this movie at the cinema, but I knew it was very long and there was a lot of storylines going on in it. And that is Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Yeah, there were several storylines in this movie. I forgot just how many, like, how much actually happened in this, because it was like, you had the Namor stuff, you had, Ironheart got introduced to this, you had Shuri dealing with not just losing her brother, but losing her mother, and then on top of, her father from a few years back, and yeah, there was so much stuff going on in this one. Like, it's a good movie. I think this is where it differs, like, in terms of Eternals. Like, there's a lot of characters going on, but in this one, you're actually invested in the character storylines, whereas I feel like with Eternals, one of the big differences was, like, caring about their story, and, but I found for Black Panther, you want to know what happens. It's not as good as the first Black Panther movie, but it's still a solid film. So I'm glad I did actually rewatch this one. So Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. And then into the home stretch with the rest of the MCU ones, because I won't be talking about Deadpool and Wolverine in this one, because that'll be a first time viewing video, which will hopefully be out in a few days. But I did watch Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Definitely the weakest part of the Ant-Man and the Wasp trilogy. I did like all the stuff with the quantum realm. I did like that. Obviously all the build-up with Ken is not happening now for obvious reasons. So that, like, mid-credit scene is, yeah, not go like, nothing will come of that mid-credit scene. So, and I also actually really liked Michael Douglas in this movie. I felt this was, like, the first time he really had, like, a lot to actually do in the main plot, because normally he's off on the side, like, you know, being on the comms or things like that, but he was actually right in the thick of the action in this one, and it was actually really funny, so I did enjoy Michael Douglas in this one. I mean, it's not a completely terrible film, like, it has its moments, but yeah, compared to the other Ant-Man films, it's just a bit of a disappointment, so that's Ant-Man and the Quantumania. And then we get to one of my favourite, another one of my favourite movies of the MCU, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. If we never get another Guardians movie, I'm happy with how this wrapped it up. It was just such a roller coaster of a film. So many emotions. Just, yeah, the Guardians, like, last, like, ride. It was, yeah, an amazing movie and still one of my favorites, so. And then we get to the last movie that I rewatched a few days before. Actually, no, I rewatched this one the day before I saw Deadpool and Wolverine, because I timed it that way so that I had one movie to watch before I went and saw the movie at the cinema. And that is The Marvels. I still like this one. I know, again, a lot of people don't. But I liked the team up, even if it's sad that I find it sad. A lot of people most likely don't care, that Captain Marvel's not getting her own solo adventure. I know we're likely to see Kamala in Young Avengers if they ever do a variation of that project, because I've heard conflicting things whether or not that's actually going ahead or not. Because I'm glad I did, because when I saw this at the cinema, I'm glad I actually I actually watched Ms. Marvel before this one, because because it's sort of like I did, because I really enjoyed Ms. Marvel, and then I was like, I think that kind of helped going into this, because how much I did enjoy this one, and like with all like the body swapping shenanigans and just everything, and this is also like one of the shortest movie run times. I think that also helped it with like how compact it was storyline wise, because you have some movies where it's like 2.5 hours long and it could easily be cut half an hour, but this is like under 2 hours, so very rare in the MCU. So I did like it for that one. And also I loved the cat scenes, because that was like the best placement of the Sod Memory, I think, in ever. I love that scene. So but yes, I did finish the Marvels, and that's my rewatch of the MCU done. And now the urge to go and rewatch all the X-Men movies is really, really strong. So don't be surprised if that pops up in the next couple of months in my watching the collection video. So that is everything I watched out of my physical media collection during the month of July 2024. So thank you guys for watching, and until my next video, I will see you guys next time. Bye.